Hello from the Frederick Community College Mid-Atlantic Center for Emergency Management and Public Safety. I'm Kathy Francis, Executive Director. If you've interacted with me in the past, you'll know that I'm a champion of partnerships, both inside and outside of our organization. So today we're very excited to showcase our partnership with Anthem Planning and to launch our collaborative public safety technology interview series. Today, we're here to help you.
Good morning, I'm Amy Lepore from Anthem Planning. Anthem is a small firm offering public safety and private sector organizations assessment, project management, and implementation services. We are thrilled to partner with the Mid-Atlantic Center, and thank you so much to Kathy and to your team, Alan, Steve, and Lauren, for making this series possible. Welcome.
Have you ever wished that you had a team of experts in your back pocket, able to explain public safety technology when the jargon gets to be just too much? The Mid-Atlantic Center for Emergency Management and Public Safety and Anthem Planning have partnered to build you that team. We've gathered the best and the brightest minds in the field to help break down fast-moving technologies, keep tabs on industry trends, and enhance your agency's ability to respond. Join us every week for your Monday briefing, tips and tricks from our experts to help make your technology implementation that much easier.
Thank you, Kathy. And today we welcome Andrew Owlett. Andrew, thank you for being with us.
No problem. Thank you guys very, very much.
Andrew, we know you as a change agent and that you're passionate about crisis management, resilience, strategy, innovation, and analytics. And we have you on because you are a seasoned leader, board member, public speaker, educator, and innovator. Over the last 14 years, Andrew has served in various management consulting, private sector, and public service leadership capacities. Andrew, you've served with the federal government in 2 branches, executive and legislative, state and local government, and business, and in industries that span defense, national security, public safety, higher education, and health. Andrew, tell us just a bit more about your experience.
Sure. So first off, I'm incredibly excited to be here today. And I think that this segment and everything that you guys are doing is a tremendous high value add to the public safety community. So thanks again for that opportunity. A little bit about me and my public safety background. I started off the first half of my career in the public safety community as a first responder. I was a firefighter, EMT, hazardous materials technician. I took a lot of training on how to leverage different types of technologies to combat weapons of mass destruction incidents, to better respond and more effectively recover from various incidents. And I quickly learned the benefits of these technologies in the public safety community and more. And then at about the 8-year mark, I transitioned out of the public safety community, went into management consulting, did some work, as you highlighted, Amy, a little earlier. And now I function as the deputy chief for enterprise mission assurance, test training, and exercise at the U.S. Department of Defense. And because of that and my role, I have to kind of put in a quick little disclaimer that the information that I'm talking about today is completely in my personal capacity, and the opinions that I'm expressing are not the view of the United States Department of Defense, their components, or the United States government as a whole. So I just wanted to get that out there really quick.
That's excellent, Andrew. Thank you. So we're going to talk about a number of things today, but right out of the gate, we're going to remind everyone that real-time data and the ability to analyze and use data for sound decision-making are increasingly valuable commodities for public safety organizations. Andrew, we have you here today to walk us through the best application of geospatial analytics. What do folks need to know?
So I think kind of setting the stage and everything, I always like to just kind of break things down by defining like kind of what we're talking about first. So I think before we even do that, I think what's really cool about emergent technology in the public safety community and geospatial analytics and geographic information systems is kind of thinking of it through critical public safety nodes. So it there's a ton of opportunity to make positive technological impact in the public safety community. From a person, a citizen that's impacted, to the 911 operator, to the first responder, to the hospital provider, to public safety enablers like your utility worker, road workers, and so many others, to your public safety supply chain like your IT providers, your system administrators, and so many more. There's no shortage of opportunity to make that technological impact in the public safety community. And geospatial analytics, or geographic information systems, or GIS, whatever you want to call it, is so transformative for the public safety community because it allows you to take information or data and make it super visually appealing to make quick, strategic, operational decisions at a moment's notice. So at the end of the day, as a public safety community as a whole, we're constantly being thrown information at us before, during, and after a crisis. And we need a way to ingest that information simplistically and quickly. And that's where geospatial analytics comes into play.
Excellent. Now you have some information that you wanted to share with us today. We're going to focus on some of the phases of emergency management. So can you talk through that for us?
Sure. So like I said a little bit earlier, I like to think of things really simplistically. So kind of breaking it into an easily digestible format, because we all know technology and technology jargon can become super complicated really quick. I like to break it down with the 4 phases of emergency management and how geospatial analytics can enable really good decision making in each one of those phases. So we know the 4 phases of emergency management as mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. So in the beginning, I'm going to talk about how geospatial analytics can kind of help you out in the mitigation and preparedness phases. And it does that by allowing you to model and simulate different areas that are most prone to disaster. Because at the end of the day, you really want to get ahead of different crisis events, different disaster events, different incident events, and you want to better anticipate them. You want to kind of live in that mitigation and preparedness phase, because the more you live in that phase, the more you don't have to worry, hopefully, about other things happening. So being able to model different instances of a crisis is really, really important. So an example I like to think of, and again, I'm a really simple person and I like to break it down really simplistically. I like to think of it as this. So there could be a roadway that's super prone to flooding, and understanding how that roadway as a critical lifeline to a community is impacted during a natural disaster is really important to understand, because you want to plan for that ahead of time. You don't want to have a delay in emergency care to people. So geospatial analytics can help you see that ahead of time so you can make informed decisions ahead of time. Another way is through simulating different crime statistics in a town or in a city to better allocate different resources to specific areas. And then kind of a little bit more of an advanced way of leveraging geospatial analytics is through the data capture of indoor facilities to create 3D images to pre-plan for special public safety tactics. So there's a whole bunch of different ways in the mitigation and preparedness phase that you can better visualize things to better respond to future events. So that's kind of my lead into the response phase. And geospatial analytics allows you to more efficiently respond to crisis events by providing you with real-time location intelligence. And what that means is providing you with real-time updates on where assets are in different components. So it provides you with situational awareness so you can make better decision makings. I like to think of that as kind of a little more advanced starting out, as how we as a nation are adopting smart city technology. There are some super early adopters of smart city technology. There are some skeptics out there, like with anything. But from a public safety perspective, there are so many benefits to integrating geospatial analytics with smart city technology. When I talk about smart city technology, I'm talking about sensor technology that's embedded in the pavement on the roads, embedded in street lights and traffic lights. And I like to visualize this as first responders are responding in real time. People can see where they are, traffic patterns can change, hospitals can see when patients are going to arrive. And the exponential advancement in pre-hospital healthcare technology is providing us with an opportunity for hospitals to see patient status in the back of ambulances too. And geospatial technology works hand in hand with that smart city technology, with advanced healthcare technology, and so much more. A little more simplistically than talking about sensor technology in the roadways and everything, I like to think of GIS as an enabler for real-time flood gauge information, IT communications information, roadway information, shelter information, healthcare facility status information. All of this information as you're responding to an incident can be provided to you in a dashboard, something really easily digestible to see. And that allows leaders and then tactical representatives in a public safety agency to see the information they need to see in a one-stop shop. Finally, recovery. I like to talk about recovery really quick because super important, and a lot of times, quite frankly, it gets ignored. So with geospatial intelligence and analytics, it allows you to more quickly bounce back to normal by showing you trends of what your normal state of operations is, your disruptive state of operations is, and what your future state of operations can be, or what it can't be. So over a period of time, geospatial analytics really analyzes what's going on, provides you with information, provides you with a picture, and it's super easily digestible to be able to give you the information that you need at any given time. So that's kind of a 10,000 foot overview of geospatial analytics and GIS and how it kind of relates to each phase of emergency management and how it can drive efficiency and effectiveness in public safety.
So Andrew, thank you for helping our listeners understand the difference between the mapping visuals and the simplistic data that we typically see, and how the advanced geospatial analytics can really help our decision makers and provide value in some of those difficult decisions they need to make today. So we know that, let's talk about reality a little bit. Within the public safety sector, we know that analysts and our GIS specialists are often minimally staffed. They support multiple departments, and they do require a skilled, credentialed individual. Would you help our listeners? And we have a broad audience today, from hiring agents to senior leaders to human resources specialists. How can they understand the industry credentials that are valued and needed in the profession today?
Yeah, for sure. So if any organization in the public safety umbrella has a desire to touch a technology field that can literally transform the entire public safety community, and if they have a desire to be on the cutting edge of smart city technology integration, these are kind of the skills that I would be looking for to start. I think, like with anything, just a strong desire to change things is really important. A strong desire to learn, being a sponge with this stuff. And in order to be a sponge, you need to know where to go. And I think we're going to be able to provide you with some resources of where to go to be that sponge. But a strong project management background is really important. Having those organizational skills, those communication skills are really important. Being able to communicate effectively with various different types of people, breaking things down simplistically, really important. Being visual and an outside box thinker, really important. More advanced skills, somebody with an ESRI, geospatial experience background, a data prep experience background, a data analytical background is really important. Some of the programs that are out there that geospatial technologies utilize are around data science. So maybe somebody with some Python data analytics skills is really important. So those are some of the more advanced skills, but just starting out, being that sponge, having that strong desire to learn and knowing where to go to learn to get that information is really important.
Thank you, Andrew. So while we're talking about reality, the threat of this pandemic and our phased response is on the minds of everyone today. So would you talk a little bit about how the GIS community is supporting local decision makers to responsibly and analytically set up the COVID-19 testing centers, or anything else in that area that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, for sure. So we've seen a lot of different geospatial technology images floating around all of media right now. One of the most popular is the Johns Hopkins University COVID-19 operations dashboard, which I'm pretty sure all of the highest levels of government are going to or continue to leverage, because it's providing a real-time and super accurate picture of COVID-19. On the other side of things, kind of addressing what you just said, Kathy, about some of the test sites, GIS is providing a lot of trend analysis on how many people are going to testing centers related to how many people are reporting infections in a geographic region. So this is providing decision makers with information and data to make decisions on whether they need to increase testing capability, increase hospital care capability, and so much more. All of this information is being provided in an easily digestible format like that Johns Hopkins University dashboard. A way GIS can be used, if it's not already being used, is to see also the impact of those testing centers and the effectiveness and the efficiency and the effectiveness through a customer lens. So ingesting some customer satisfaction information to improve the testing capabilities down the line is really important as well. And then GIS is also helping with the allocation of resources to those testing centers. So it's really important, again, for those decision makers to be able to see, are we being overrun in a certain area? Do we need more people to increase the testing center capabilities or not? And at the end of the day, the best part is all this information is able to be shared with those that need it, whether it's the state of Maryland and all of the participating departments and agencies within Maryland, the surrounding states, or the federal government. Information sharing is so key, and GIS allows you to seamlessly share that information via those Johns Hopkins type of dashboards or other collaboration pages.
Thank you, Andrew. And just as a follow-up, you really made me think that as a senior leader making these high-level decisions, the value of GIS in that decision-making, but maybe the leaders don't know what to ask for. When would you recommend that a GIS specialist be brought into the planning process for incidents of this nature?
So I always recommend before anything happens. So bringing in somebody during a response phase of emergency management is, of course, when GIS specialists are brought in a lot of times, because senior leaders need to be able to visualize everything that's going on, and they need somebody to set up those capabilities. But I'm a big proponent of better anticipating crisis events before they happen, and GIS allows you and enables you to be able to do that. So from the get-go, what I like to say is that if you want to see different types of trend analysis and you want to be smarter about how you allocate resources to different problems, bring in a GIS specialist in the beginning of any sort of project to be able to show you what your response capabilities can be and your recovery capabilities can be.
Thank you, Andrew. Amy, would you like to ask any more questions?
So Andrew, you have done a wonderful job of breaking down the application and importance of geospatial analytics. But before we let you go, can you share with the audience, some of whom might not have a comprehensive GIS program in place, can you share the first important step or two that they might take?
Sure. So a couple different steps. So if you don't have a comprehensive geospatial analytics GIS program in place, I want people to think about what your organization truly does on a daily basis. Do you have interactions with the community or with different customers? If yes, what do they desire of you as a service provider? And what I mean by that is what do they constantly demand out of you? And then once you know that, you can learn more about the patterns and trends on how to serve them better, more efficiently, and more effective. Number two, I want people to think about who is going to need this information and how. Think about the audience. What are their demands going to be? How are they going to need their demands met? Do they need mobile technology? Do they need other sorts of technology? And then that helps you kind of identify some potential data sources, which gets you started with the information you want to display in a geospatial format. It helps you determine the method, and then it helps you figure out how you're going to eventually visualize your information. And I have a whole bunch of other steps, but I think the best way to kind of provide them out, maybe via my LinkedIn page. I constantly put out a lot of tips and tricks on what geospatial capabilities can do for people.
So follow Andrew Owlett on LinkedIn. I know you also provided us with some resources, and we'll make sure that for audience members who are interested, we get those resources out to them. Thank you.
So thank you, Andrew and Amy. And Andrew, you've helped us understand some of the complexities of GIS, but you've really opened the door and you've sparked interest in the possibilities of how GIS can really help us in our decision making, especially during critical times and the complex events that we're now facing today. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise with you. It's been a delight to work with you and to partner with Amy and Anthem Planning. So thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Our pleasure.